This is a very mixed bag of books this week. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have 1001 book countdown for you. And yeah, it was an interesting couple of weeks, an interesting week since my last countdown video for the books. Oh boy. So if you're not familiar with the 1001 book countdown, I will put a card up here for you somewhere where you can go and check out the original video. But basically I'm reading books off of the 1001 books you must read before you die list and slowly making my way through this massive project. I anticipate it will take me about another 15 years to be able to make it the rest of the way through. Absolutely insanity, right? But hopefully you consider giving me a subscribe and sticking around and seeing if it really does take me 15 years. That'd be really fun, wouldn't it? But for today, what we will go ahead and do is put up the numbers, which are 818, believe, no, I lie, 817, which is my main number out of the 1,315 books in total on all 5 editions of the book, of the 1001 books you must read before you die list, and 40. Every year at the beginning of the year, I pre-select 52 books with the idea of getting that number down to 0. It helps me to have a smaller number to focus on, and maybe I'll get that to 0. I haven't made it any year so far, but it's always a thought in my head that maybe I can make it. So yeah, we'll see. I'm still on track so far for this year, I think, maybe, possibly, fingers crossed. Not sure. But yeah, that's where my current numbers sit. All right. To jump in the books, the first book I have is an absolute delight. This was actually a subscriber favorite pick. It was recommended by my subscriber, Stacy V, and it just happened to be on my 1001 list. And that is The Summer Book by Tove Jansson. This book was originally published in 1972. Yes, 1972, and is the only book that this author has on the 1001 list. This book is just lovely. It's so peaceful and delightful. It has a grandmother and granddaughter who are having a summer on the island, and it's just sweet. It's so just reminiscent of like your childhood and getting to play and be with your grandparents. I thought it was so absolutely adorable, and how the grandmother kind of indulges the granddaughter from time to time and plays along and thinks of different stories and different things to do. It just seemed like it was the perfect way to kind of spend a summer. I kept waiting for some kind of big shoe to drop that would make it so that this wasn't as just sweet and as sentimental as it came across to me, but so good. I was so pleasantly surprised. I don't have a lot necessarily to say about the book other than that, but it came out of kind of nowhere, and I really wanted to spend some quality time with this book. It just made me think of spending time as a kid, getting to go out and play and getting to be outside and loving that in the summer. What a sweet book. I really want to look for more by this author, but this is the only book that's on the 1001 list. I haven't looked up anything additional by this particular author, but thank you, Stacy, for bringing this one to my attention. I can see why it was a favorite of yours last year. It is definitely a great book. So with this book, we do get to go from 817 down to 816, but it wasn't on my 2024 list. I know it came late because I did my subscriber favorite selections well after I selected my 52 books for the 1001 list. So for now, that number stays at 40. It's very, very sad. I played with maybe not worrying about that in just any book that I had read, but this is obviously a library book. It's not one I own, and it does count off the main number, just not off of my goal books that I have for this year, but still lovely. Highly recommend if you want something just kind of slow moving and easy with interesting characters. I mean, it doesn't really have a big plot to it necessarily. It's just like this relaxing time on an island. Yeah, it's wonderful. So that's that one. All right. I wish I could say the same about the next one. I'm so annoyed by this book, and I'm annoyed with myself for continuing to read it. And the book is this one. The Cement Garden by McEwan. McEwan has 8 books on the 1001 countdown, very well represented. I've now read 6, and I would say arguably this is the one I hated the most. I hated it in the first chapter. I really should have just stopped reading it. It put me in a foul mood as well. I read a book review on it out on Goodreads, and it had the most perfect way of describing what the issue was. I prefer more plot in my books and less incest. And that pretty much sums up like the whole first chapter of this book. It was just gross. It was just horrible. And I don't feel like it advanced the story along really at all. It was just like gratuitous in there and explicit between a brother and two sisters. And I'm just like, no. Well, I just did the tag about please don't forget me, right? And I wish I could forget the scenes in this particular book. The father ends up, the father basically dies pretty early, like the second chapter, I think. And then something happens with the mother and the kids are left alone, and what they decide to do with her is horrific. The book is horrific. The story is bad. I didn't like it at all, but it really was that incest and the overabundance of masturbation by a teenage boy. Again, not for me. I don't want to read that. That's not something I'm interested in. I mean, maybe it has value. Maybe there's something about this book. It's rated 3.54 stars on Goodreads. Some people really did like this book. Me, no. And it's not often that I consider DNFing a book, but this one was right there. I was close. I thought about it and then I ended up, it's a short little book. I had part of the audiobook and I did finish it, but I regret it. If that makes any sense. So like I said, a very mixed bag of books. I wish my order of books that I read this was opposite. If I'd read this one and then read the summer book, how refreshing that book would be, because this book left a foul taste in my mouth. I did not like it. Just no. So, but with this book, we get to go from 816 to 815, and it was on my 2024 list. So that number gets to go from 40 down to 39, and it's going over there, and I'm not going to look at it anymore. Not for a while. Oh, that's the second book I've thrown this year so far. That's amazing. All right. What else? I don't have any other books to talk about today. It's been a bit slow so far, the reading this month. I've just been focused on some other things, like with my mom and everything else going on. So I don't have any other books. I have started this one though, Hideous, Kinky by Esther Freud. And it is slow going so far. It's a bit confusing in the first couple of chapters. So I'm just trying to figure out what the point of the whole story is right now. I don't have much more to report on that one, but this is the one I am working on next. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I said, very mixed week of books. If you read The Cement Garden, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. If I'm the only one that feels that way, I would love to hear that. If you've read the summer book, let me know how you feel about that. I would love that information. And yeah, like I said, very mixed, but as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.